For this video, you'll need to take out your blue bone packet, page 5, and we're going to discuss two bones today, the zygomatic bone and the sphenoid bone. So if we look at the zygomatic bone, we can see on this plastic skull, it's colored purple. What you need to notice is there are three areas where it reaches out to other bones. Those are processes of the zygomatic bone. If we look at the inferior part of the zygomatic bone, where it reaches towards the frontal bone, that would be the frontal process of the zygomatic bone. If we look where the zygomatic bone reaches posteriorly towards the temporal bone, that would be the temporal process of the zygomatic bone. And lastly, where the zygomatic bone reaches anteriorly, that is the maxillary process of the zygomatic bone. There's also an orbital surface you can see where the orbit forms, and that is a smooth, rounded surface on a zygomatic bone. We have some human zygomatic bones here, and you can see where the orbital surface is, and that would help you distinguish the left from right zygomatic bone. We're now going to look at the sphenoid bone. On this plastic skull, you can see it's colored red. This would be a superior view of the sphenoid bone. We could also look at a lateral view. On the lateral view, you can see it's a red bone. That's all part of the sphenoid bone, and inferiorly, we can see the sphenoid bone colored red. Going back to the superior view, we can see the body of the sphenoid bone, which is the central portion right here. In addition, there's going to be a greater wing of the sphenoid bone, which is here, and the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, which forms part of the anterior cranial fossa. We also see the pituitary fossa, also known as the sala turcica. If we look at the anterior view, we can see the superior orbital fissure.
Superior orbital fissure here.
And we can also see the posterior view of the superior orbital fissure. There's also the optic canal. From the anterior view, we can see optic canal, which is where the optic nerve, or cranial nerve number 2, is going to pass. And here's where the optic canal comes out within the intracranial fossa. There are also two foramina within the sphenoid bone, the foramina rotunda and the foramen ovale. So we're going to do a comparison between the plastic skull sphenoid bone in red and a human sphenoid bone. You can see the greater wing of the sphenoid bone here, and the body of the sphenoid bone is in the center. Within the body of the sphenoid bone is a sinus. The sphenoid sinuses are located within the sphenoid bone.
And there are 4 different sinuses in the human skull. You already learned about the frontal sinus. The second is the sphenoid sinus, and the third and fourth sinus you'll learn in subsequent videos.
And a sinus is a space within a bone, as you can see here.